Jack, take it away. Here at Namasté, we feel some kind of way. There's something about we say we love, we really love. We see you, care, please be yourself by your kid. That's exactly what. That's exactly what. That's exactly what keeps me coming back.
Woo! How is everybody today? Welcome. Good afternoon. Want to put this down? Okay, thank you, wife. So, good afternoon, everybody. I am really grateful to be hosting service today because guess what? I get to celebrate my birthday today with each and every one of you. So thank you very much. Woo! So, welcome to Namasté, and glad to have you join us. If you are here for the first time, welcome. If you have been here before, really glad to have you back. And Namaste, who are we? Well, we are a radically inclusive, welcoming community. We believe that all paths lead to an awakening. We are here collectively revealing that love is the nature of who we really are. Nothing need be done or earned. We are love. So, with that, I'm going to invite you to read with me, slowly and with intention. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is love, truth, light, and peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we recognize that we are one. Namaste. And so, with that, again, welcome. Really glad to have you here. It is the first Sunday of the month, and so you should have received prayer cards when you came in. So if not and would like one, raise your hand and we'll have one brought to you. Anybody? Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our music team.
All right. Nikki, hold on a second. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nikki. Happy birthday to I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. Hey, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah. walking and talking with my mind. State of freedom, walking and talking with my mind. State of freedom, walking and talking with my mind. State of freedom, hallelujah. 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 I woke up this morning with my mind. Sing it with me now. Woke up this morning. Oh yeah, here we go. Stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah.
Good afternoon, Namasté. I'd like to invite up one of our beloved practitioners, Debbie Ann Volks, to bring the candle. And this candle represents the light that shines brightly within each one of us, the light of spirit, the light of that sacred fire that's burning within each one of us. If you'd like to read with me our affirmation, just read it slowly and mindfully and with your heart. There's only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. This life is my life now. Just turn within for a moment and pray with me. There's a divine creative spirit, this thing called life, that is right here and right now, ever present, everywhere. Within each and every one of us, it desires to express itself. And now we bring forth, invite in our ancestors, our guides, the angels into this service. Invite in all those that are present within this room, who are present online, and all those who will watch this sometime in the future, because there is no future, there is no past, there is only now in the mind of God, in this consciousness. And I know that right here and right now, that this service will unfold in perfect divine right order, and that the Reverend Bobby and the Reverend Veronica, their message will touch the hearts of each and every one of us. And I know that the musicians, Kong and Dez and Lorenzo, their music will uplift us and guide us and carry our spirits to a higher level. And that each member of this congregation is divine. Is a divine expression of the unity that is back of the multiplicity that invites each and every one of us to belong in this greater universe at this time. I say it's good, it's all good. Thank you, Namaste, and welcome. And with that, I'd like to bring up Tori Siena, our sounds like a robot, our board of trustee for the day. Come on up, Tori.
Thank you, Bev. Hello, everybody. Where are we at here? Oh, there it is. That's the starting slide, I think. But welcome. Happy to see everybody. Awesome faces. I'm so grateful to be here. I just want to tell everyone that. And I want to, did we read this already? No, that's for me? Wonderful. So if everybody would join me in reading this wonderful affirmation. We are a joy-filled, loving center of spiritual growth. We create transformative connections and build bridges of unity for all inclusive humanity. We are Namasté. And the way we go about this is we awaken to a new truth in our lives. Then we realize how that truth has played out in our lives. We take our new knowledge and transform our lives, and then we repeat this process in our lives in new ways. Our power statements are: we are a place of connection, healing, and unity. And hashtag we are Namaste, and most importantly for all, hashtag this stuff works. And some announcements: candlelight service, December 18th at 4:30 p.m. Please join us. It's going to be a special holiday candlelight service, and our Seal Beach friends will be joining us. We'll have a potluck dinner after. It's going to be pretty casual, but please sign up. There's a sign-up sheet at the front there for a dish to bring. This is our last in-person Sunday for the year, so let's all celebrate with each other. Next is our two practices. One is our weekly practice, our morning practice, the spiritual call, and I highly recommend it. I think I've said it before, but it's a wonderful way to start your day for the week and get an opportunity to just kind of get into that mindset when we jump into the world. Next is also the Safe Place, grief support. And it's an hour-long grief support group every second Wednesday at 7 p.m. and fourth Monday at 10 a.m. And we've created the Safe Place to support grief from life events, the changes they bring, and to find comfort in community. And you can register on Eventbrite and look within our newsletter, our website, and Facebook page for that link. And digging deeper, I'm going to invite Reverend Veronica up to speak on this.
Hello, everyone. This is our last Digging Deeper of 2022. Can you believe it? So Beth Syverson has been here before in person. We were going to have her last month, but because we were right in the middle of Adventures in Faith, we rescheduled her to this month, which I think is appropriate this time of year. This time we're talking about addiction, and this time of year could be a busy time for those in addiction. So we want to invite you. Beth is a host of Safe Home Podcast. She has been in recovery from sugar addiction for over 5 years, and she has walked alongside her 19-year-old son as he recovers from a polysubstance addiction. Using the concepts of the craft method, she will challenge our cultures and our own views about addiction. Her main goal is to destigmatize addiction and mental health, and to create a more empathetic world in which people who struggle with addiction can find healing. So this is going to be a discussion group where, I know that we have family members, friends that struggle with addiction, or perhaps ourselves. So I want to show you Beth's video that she created, inviting us all to this Wednesday.
Hello, Namaste. I'm Beth Syverson. A couple of months ago, I had the pleasure of being a guest speaker on a Sunday morning talking about addiction, and I'm excited to be with you this coming Wednesday night for a special interactive online workshop about addiction. I have struggled with sugar addiction my whole life. I've been off of it for 5 years, almost 6, and my son is 19 years old and has struggled with substance use for the last 6 years or so. So we have been going round and round and round with addiction in all different directions, and I want to just kind of open it up to everybody to share whatever they want to share. about themselves, or maybe they have a loved one that might be struggling with addiction. We're going to be kind of digging into what is addiction, what causes addiction, what's underneath it all, and how can we better serve each other, whether we're addicted, in recovery, in and out, back and forth, and how we can be there for each other no matter what, and no matter what the addiction is, if it's Facebook or fentanyl or anything in between. So I hope to see you Wednesday at 7 o'clock. It's on Zoom, easy peasy, and obviously you don't have to participate if you don't want to. You can remain anonymous if you want to. I want it to be a safe space for us to just talk about what addiction means and how it impacts your life. See you Wednesday.
So I hope to see you this Wednesday for our final Digging Deeper for 2022. Register on Eventbrite, and it's at 7 p.m. Thank you so much.
Excellent, excellent. So the circle's also coming up. Our December circle magically falls on the winter solstice, Wednesday, December 21st. In the spirit of our collaboration with Seal Beach, Namasté practitioner Valerie Day and Seal Beach practitioner Carol Ann Pernini are creating a winter solstice celebration. This is a time of a great stillness and darkness that gives us a spiritual cradle to rest, reflect, grow, and awaken into a new life cycle. It's a time to celebrate a return to the light and brighter days ahead. Join us in person at Seal Beach as we gather in circle to honor the longest night of the year with music by our very own Des Glover, ritual prayer, and meditation as we reflect, release, let go, and set intentions for the new season. And of course, register at Eventbrite using the link in our newsletter and on our website. And here's Suzanne, president of Bot Calic. She's gonna talk about our tithe.
So as you know, we believe in the law of circulation, and as such, we give 5% of your giving to organizations, both local and national, to support those in need and those organizations with similar beliefs to our own. For the month of November, we donated to the Pride and Joy Foundation, and I just wanted to read the thank you letter that we received back from them. It says, thank you for your generous donation of $513 to the Pride and Joy Foundation. Your donation helps continue our mission of preventing suicide and homelessness in the LGBTQ+ community. Through these programs, Keynote Queers, ALP Suicide Prevention, Out of Queerosity Podcast, Pride and Joy Parents, Pride and Joy Publishing, Chronicle Cinema's convention movie. And it also supports their operational expenses to pursue their mission. Their team consists of 3 volunteers and part-time workers, and they are beyond grateful for your generosity and support to the foundation. I also wanted to read to you an excerpt from a letter we received from Elena Joy Thurston, who is the CEO of the foundation. She says, yesterday we received your generous donation to the Pride and Joy Foundation as your November tithe recipient. We are so incredibly grateful for the generosity of your community. Not only is the monetary support so impactful, but also knowing that there are organizations that are aware of us and want to help does so much for our spirits. Last night, this is where I got choked up, at dinner, I shared with my 12 and 14-year-old girls that Pride and Joy had received a large donation from a church. Both of their jaws dropped. It literally shocked them because their perception of church is where LGBTQ+ people are not valued or even accepted. They also couldn't wrap their heads around a church giving tithes to another organization and not keeping it for their own work. For that teaching moment alone, I am so grateful. This is where our money goes and what we are supporting in the world. So thank you.
Yeah, that does feel good, doesn't it? Wow. I want to say some thank yous. Basically, I want to talk about 2 people that I think get overlooked on occasion, and that is Reverend Bobby and our president, Susan. They show up. They just show up. There's so many times we're at bed, asleep, thinking, not worrying about anything, knowing you're going to walk into this sanctuary on Sunday and it's going to go smooth. And I just want us to take our consciousness a little deeper, understanding what they sacrifice, how committed they are to us. Our beautiful service, they are the foundation. They are the rocks that are keeping this going. And so just give them a special hug and a special thank you. And also, it is another call out to be of any support you can for this community. We are always looking for volunteers. If you feel called, and you can see us running around here, sometimes chickens with our heads cut off. So when it calls to your heart, please step up and say yes to supporting this amazing, amazing community. That's about it for me. How about you, Kong? You ready to go?
Ready to rock.
Awesome.
Actually, ready to gently roll
Oh, let's gently roll.
into meditation. Power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows so gracefully. Power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows so easily. Everything you think you need to know, strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. Everything goes away. Everything washed away. The power of now. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting us all to the one. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Everything you think you need to know, power of now. The power of now.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. No applause. Jesse, take it away.
Thanks, Colin. I'm Jesse Keeler, and I'm licensed to pray through the Centers for Spiritual Living. Our desire to belong is deep within our human nature. Humans are social animals. We need the support of one another for our individual survival. In the hyper-individualistic society we currently live in, our personal desires might momentarily obscure the need for others. But in fact, without others, our personal pursuits would be impossible. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind wrote, "The world of multiplicity does not contradict the world of unity, for the many live in the one. The concept of unity is the mystical secret of the ages, the key to spiritual wisdom." Our human urge to belong is not just a physical necessity, but is a spiritual yearning to experience the unity of the one. Belonging is unity in action. Not recognizing and honoring the unity back of the multiplicity is the fundamental cause of our society's ills, like poverty, violence and abuse, racism, genderism, homophobia, climate change, and the destruction of a livable earth. We don't have to look far for stories about the consequences of not living in unity and putting limitations on belonging. This past week, on December 1st, we marked two occasions. The first was the anniversary of the day Rosa Parks boarded a bus and refused to move after the bus driver tried to reassign her seating. An action which became a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. The roots of racism are in the refusal to see the unity back of the multiplicity and our laziness of thought to rest in separation and duality. Rosa Parks' story is a powerful story of knowing she belonged. If you haven't already, I encourage you to learn more about her, beyond the whitewashed story that's commonly told. Long before the legendary moment on the bus, she had been working to advocate for the rights of Black Americans. She may not have articulated it as belonging, but she must have known in that sacred fire blazing in her heart that she belonged. That she was an expression of the unity back of the multiplicity, with no less importance or purpose for being alive than any other person. Her refusal to acquiesce to the whims of the bus driver was a profound yes to honoring the oneness of all. The other occasion honored on December 1st was World AIDS Day, which is dedicated to bringing the awareness of AIDS and the spread of the HIV virus, as well as to honor those who have died from the disease. I remember when a mysterious disease started killing men almost as soon as they had gotten sick. I remember the fear people had not knowing what that disease was or how you got it. I also remember people in positions of power labeling it a gay disease. And because it was killing members of the socially outcast homosexual community, they refused to do anything about it, anything to stop it. The belief that there is an other allowed some people to justify their cruelty, their inhumanity to the sick and dying. The belief in separation and the other, the refusal to act in accordance with the unity back of the multiplicity, can have deadly consequences. In this moment, I invite you to unravel yourself, to soften your gaze, close your eyes if you want to, open up your chest and take in a deep breath, and breathe in deep, and move into a contemplative state of mind. Imagine if we lived in a society that believed in unity and oneness of all. Would some people be forcibly stifled to limit the expression of life moving through them? If we lived in a society that believed in the unity and oneness of all, would a deadly disease have an opportunity to become a global pandemic? If we lived in a society that believed in the unity and oneness of all, would we pillage our only home, Earth, merely for our comfort and convenience? If we believed in unity and oneness of all, would we be more gracious with others and extend our belonging to them regardless of who they are? We're moving into a season that invites us to slow down, to reflect on how we are living our lives. It's a season when we gather with others and celebrate the precious light that illuminates all life. As you experience your own sense of belonging, reflect on how you can extend that same sense of belonging to others. Ask yourself, how can I extend belonging to others and gift them with the understanding of the unity back of the multiplicity? Thank you, Namaste. And I'd like to invite up Rev. Veronica for another share.
Thank you, Jesse, for your passion, your passionate share. Absolutely. I wanted to extend on the World's AIDS Day on December 1st, which we collectively remember those who died due to AIDS-related illnesses and renew our commitment to work together to end the HIV epidemic and support people living with HIV. And here's some statistics. Since the beginning of the epidemic, 84.2 million people have been infected with the HIV virus, and about 40.1 million have died from HIV. And I'm sure that there are people in this room who know people who died of HIV, including I lost a brother-in-law. My brother's partner passed from HIV in the 80s, and it was a difficult time. The World Health Organization African region is the most affected region, with 25.6 million people living with HIV in 2021. Also, the World Health Organization African region accounts for almost 60% of the global new HIV infections. So today we want to honor those living with and those who have died from the HIV virus by being conscious in our world of what is our part to do and to be. Reducing the stigma and recognizing the disparity of treatment provided for people of color and those in poverty. We are invited to wake up to what is happening still in our world around testing and treatment of HIV. And recognizing that as we speak of the African region, and remembering that as we recognize that we are all one, that there is no over there. It's all happening within the one. And so as we move forward into our next song, Kong and our music team are going to sing a song by Elton John, who has the Elton John AIDS Foundation, which has raised millions of dollars in support of the world's AIDS epidemic. And so just acknowledging that he is a strong supporter. And also I wanted to acknowledge Louise Hay, who is one of the original Science of Mind ministers, who also was a huge supporter of persons with HIV back in the 80s. And she was a loving soul who helped so many when there was no help. So thank you so much, Kang.
Yesterday, you came to lift me up, as light as straw and brittle as a bird. Today I wake less than a shadow on the wall, just one more whisper of a voice unheard. Tomorrow, leave the windows open as fear grows. Please hold me in your arms. Won't you help me, if you can, to shake this anger? I need your gentle hands to keep me calm, 'cause I never thought I'd lose, I only thought I'd win. Never dreamed I'd feel this fire beneath my skin. I can't believe you love me, I never thought you'd come. I guess I misjudged love between a father and his son. Things we never said come together, the hidden truth no longer haunting me. Tonight we touched on the things that never spoken, that kind of understanding that sets me free. 'Cause I never thought I'd lose, I only thought I'd win. I'd feel this fire beneath my skin. I can't believe you love me, I never thought you'd come. I guess I misjudged love between a father and his son. Between a father and his son. Between a father and his son.
Probably one of my favorite Elton John songs. Certainly, it's always personal, right? You know, what we remember when that song came out. I remember just my own journey back then, and some of the folks that were lost And I think even a sense at the time was trying to find a belonging in a world that was, I would say, even more pronounced in its sort of depiction or characterization of the other. And I really appreciate the shares by Jesse and Rev Veronica as we remind ourselves that there's more to do. Mostly that more to do is being conscious that it may not be affecting me as I see it directly, but if it affects another, anyone, it affects us all. And it's an opportunity to really become more conscious of what's happening in our world. My talk today, Longing to Belong, which is longing to belonging. You know, there's this deep urge within each one of us to belong. You imagine belonging is a feeling of security and support. And it's where there's acceptance and inclusion and identity for a member of a particular group. It happens when we walk in a room and I look around and I look around for me, right? Am I in this room? Am I going to be welcomed in this room? And that's on that part when we walk in a room and we're looking to belong. Belonging is a feeling that can be enforced by a culture that we can also purposely create. That it's not just about walking in a room and looking to belong, it's also about walking into a room and bringing the belonging. Medical experts have talked about how depression, anxiety, and suicide are common mental health conditions associated with the lacking of feeling like you belong. These conditions can lead to social behaviors that interfere with a person's ability to connect to others, creating a cycle of events that further and weaken a sense of belonging. If we grow up in a family and we don't feel like we belong, then there's that sense in that because I don't belong here, because maybe there's not a feeling of connection in a family, that I may not feel like I belong in the world. And I think about a lot of young people who feel that way and are looking for a place to belong. Social media is such almost epidemic platform with respect to us wanting to belong, that a lot of times we're looking for places where I can see myself. There are 3 major analytical levels in which belonging is constructed. And I love when I do these talks how I get to read and research and look at places and what things contribute to whatever it is I'm talking about. But in this particular case, analytical levels, the first one concerns social location. So oftentimes we live in a place, or we visit places, or we're in places that which we feel we belong. The second relates to individuals' identifications and emotional attachments to various collectives and groupings. White supremacy is a really good example of folks trying to belong at an extreme level, which is my way of belonging is excluding others. You are not part of my group. I belong to this group, and that where a group welcomes in individuals in such a way that it is all based on the exclusion of others, it's a false or an elusive sense that I'm part of something when I'm really not. The third relates to ethical and political systems in which people judge their own and others as to whether they should belong or not. And these different levels are interrelated, but they can't be reduced. So it's not that one exists. They often, too, may exist at the same time, if not all 3. There's a paradox to belonging. Everything is connected, yet we experience separation in how we live, right? I walk in as myself, And oftentimes, the challenge we face is when we are walking the planet, there's a sense of trying to have my own journey and have my own path, and oftentimes being unconscious that everything I do affects another. Everything, not some things, not this thing or that thing, but everything I do affects others, everyone. So it's so interesting that if there's this interconnectedness, then this enmeshing, then what is it that really makes the difference? What is the thing that is separate on the planet? And scientists are looking at the fact that we are both matter and energy. Matter is the thing that is individualized, while the energy is the thing that connects us. We are constantly vibrating as energy. And there is no separation right now between me or anything in this room that is energy. Scientists know that the space, even space that we think, there is no such thing as space, as in nothingness. There is no such thing. And yet, myself including, sometimes walk around as if I'm walking around just, and having my own little experience that I'm not, merged with all of you and all of creation. Not just humanity, but all of creation. As Jesse talks about being conscious about how we affect our environment. We are separate objects in matter, and our energies vibrate together with all of creation. So, physicist and astronomer Marcelo Gleiser put it, we are all vibrating energy patterns, made of the same kinds of atoms and connected to everything else through the history of the universe. What? Shall I read that again? Yeah. It's a big one. We are all vibrating energy patterns made of the same kinds of atoms and connected to everything else through the history of the universe. It didn't say today. We are connected to everything that has ever happened. Puts a spin on that my head just spins with it, right? Being is fundamentally relational. Now, I say that, and how many of you are out there trying to do your own thing all by yourself? Thinking, I got this. I got it on my own. I can do this. Yeah, well, I'm going to raise my hand because I'm one of those folks too that sometimes forgets that life is relational. It's not just about accomplishing and being successful. It's relational, and that relational aspect of life is what holds it all together, which is both exciting and what the heck am I doing? Walking around as if somehow it's not all relational. The other thing that's really interesting is that we place and characterize when certain things happen in our lives as if somehow it's determines our worth. Bell Hooks said it beautifully when she said, one of the mighty illusions that is constructed in the dailiness of life in our culture is that all pain is a negation of worthiness. That the real chosen people, the real worthy people, are people that are most free from pain. Yeah, I'm seeing you shake your heads. Why are you shaking your heads? Why? Go ahead. This is the interactive part too. Tell me why. We're all worthy. So when we're in pain, what are we thinking? I did something wrong. I messed up. If I'm having pain, but Bobby's not having pain, then what am I doing wrong here? Right? It always comes back to worthiness and doing it right. And not about the fact that, when we talk about that it includes all, that the unity of life is everything, by the way, it's pain too. It's all of it, not just the stuff I like. not just the stuff I've chosen to be included. Even if I've chosen it and I've just chosen these few things to be included, that's still not truth. So let me ask this question, and I think I'm going to ask it, and I want you to consider it because I'm going to ask you to speak to it. What is my story of belonging? So when I think of belonging, going back into my past in places where I felt both I belonged and didn't belong, what's my story of whether I belong or don't belong? Because the story is the same for both. What's my story? For me, if you need a little prompt, the story is usually around my worthiness or something about me that's different or something that I have a secret about or something that I feel less than about. So if I belong, the context in which I walk into something is all around that, my story around who I am. And if I ask you, who are you? So I'm going to do that really quick. Veronica, who are you? You're a beautiful child of God. Is that all you are? Well, give me something else. You're a mother and a nurse and a minister. Okay. Susan, who are you? Sister, daughter. Kick-ass librarian? Is that what you said? All right, that's good. I'm going to probably have to stop right there. One of the things that's interesting is Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, because he felt that just because I can think that I must exist. And philosophers have disagreed with that over the last years because it speaks to doing as what makes me I am. And by the way, thinking is doing. For those of you that think, oh, I just sat around all day and I did nothing. Well, you weren't. You were thinking, weren't you? Come on, come out. Right? Our philosophy, that's an old philosophy of separation, which means, if I'm not thinking, then I don't exist. That if something isn't thinking, it doesn't exist. But also at the same time, we are because we belong to everything. It's even simpler than that. It's not about the doing part, it's about the being part. It's about the fact that I qualify, well, because I'm here. Now imagine, let's go over to what we were talking about with respect to HIV, World AIDS Day, as well as racism as an example. If we are because we belong, and if we treated everything as we all belongs, how would we operate in the world? How would we treat each other? How would I treat somebody who's having a bad day? How would I treat the person who cut me off on the freeway? How would I treat the person that stepped in front of me in line? How would I treat the person that had 20 items in the 15-item line? How would I treat the person that took the seat I wanted? How would I treat the person that I've judged because of some stereotype I hold within me? How would I treat them if I felt otherwise? That we are because we belong. And that I had to do nothing for that. It's important to understand and consider, though, too, is what do I belong to? What does that really mean that I belong? What do I belong to? Now, I find this interesting. Jesse, you're going to like this, I think, what I'm about to say. Okay. Native Americans practice a concept of 7 generations. Who's heard of that? Yeah, Bill, I knew, heard of it. A few of you folks, I knew that. And this practice is that it's the Iroquois, and they've outlined the responsibility for the sustainability of future generations, called the concept of 7 generations. When important decisions are made, one should consider the impact for 7 generations in the future. Now, I just want to ask you, some of these big decisions you've been making, some of these smaller decisions that you've been making, what would it feel like to think about 7 generations going forward as the impact of your choice? That you have a bigger responsibility, connection. Say more.
It's a bigger responsibility, connection, not with just what we're talking about.
Right, and that you're thinking, imagine if we thought of the environment that way. Imagine if we thought about how we treat each other. What will happen 7 generations? Now, I want you to go 7 generations back and look how we've treated some people. And we wonder why things are as they are. Now, there is something called indigenous wisdom that points to the truth of our belonging to all that is. Ancient wisdom speaks to it. Science is exploring it. And there's one of my favorite Disney films. And for those of you that don't like Disney, don't even talk to me about it, okay? Don't even talk to me about it. So there's a film that I love that, Moana, it's one of my favorite films. And it's one of my favorite films because it speaks to the indigenous nature that we are all part of, that we are part of something that has its origins in the divine. But also, ancient wisdom has fallen away from most of us. I think about this because oral traditions are not necessarily part of who we are. How many of you have oral traditions in your families of origin? Some of you do, where you talk about your ancestors and you talk about how brave or how courageous or how amazing they were. In my family, our traditions are complaining about each other. And, how so-and-so is still doing that, kind of thing. That's our oral tradition. And I can really appreciate this idea of oral traditions. The Polynesian culture has an oral tradition called wayfaring. So I'm going to play a part of this Disney film for you. She had a divine calling, each one of us do, and that she was an explorer, and the sea called her. And they had lost a bit of that in this particular tribe that she was part of in the Polynesian culture, and it was calling her, and she could not say no. She could not say no. And so she went against her family, who were had become afraid of the sea. And she went into the sea and traveled the sea to find her way. Now, what's interesting about this wayfaring, which is a bit of a fun sort of depiction of it, is that European explorers couldn't understand how the Polynesian culture traveled thousands of miles on the sea and did not get lost. They had compasses and other devices, and they got lost all the time. But they couldn't understand it. And that's because they practiced the art of being connected to everything and listening and being conscious. And the oral tradition of that, it was not written down, was passed of wayfaring from generation to generation to generation. We've lost our way. We look at data and we look at a whole sort of things to figure out who we are. The philosophy that we practice here is really like the art of wayfaring, which is our spiritual evolution is to find what's calling us. And if we ignore this, then we will be part of quite possibly the end of humanity. It can happen. But even more importantly, the things that we're struggling with and finding that we can't sort of feel a sense of belonging is because what we're trying to do is to come into a room and ask others to support our belonging when the belonging is what we bring. The belonging and the ability to fill a room with belonging starts with each one of us. Each one of us in our diverse and unique ways, bringing our own oral traditions into the room that truly do go deeper than me complaining about a sibling or an uncle or a parent or somebody because they weren't what I wanted them to be. This is adulting, folks. This is adulting. But what's more important about adulting is taking responsibility that I am divine. Not a responsibility for my mistakes, which is really important, but what would it be to take responsibility for knowing that I am divine? And how would I be when I walked in a room? How would I be when I got into my car? And how would I be with my friends and people that I don't know or family members, no matter how they are? That is indigenous wisdom. That is the art of wayfaring. That is, in essence, what that movie Moana was saying, which is listening to that divine voice within us is how we do it. We conspire together to find that divine belonging. We must. We need to breathe together in a conspiracy of consciousness. We do have power. We each have the power of being and belonging. It's not out here, it's here. That's what Rosa Parks did. She walked in belonging. The power needs to be nurtured and cultivated individually and collectively every day. We are not the same, nor should we be. We can begin to understand our personal and collective conditioning, and in spite of this, reclaim our belonging to each other and everything. We are not separate. We can cultivate collective conscious values, conscious commitments, conscious aspirations. How? How do we breathe together? Together in a way that honors our conscious aspirations for equality and freedom, for kindness and for care. How do we breathe together to resist the agendas of very real and harmful conspiracies? It's by being conscious in the fact that we are being and belonging both. That we are sacred and universal both. And we do this, folks, we do this through intimacy and imagination. Let us pray. So as we come here today, in the spirit of belonging, the spirit of being, and the spirit of oneness, knowing that we are all one, that we are part of the one being everything, the pain and pleasure, joy and sadness, heartache, heartbreak, and heartfelt, that all is part of the one, and that we belong to it all. And so in that oneness, in that urge, that divine urge within me, as this prayer is spoken, knowing that the power of this word has power because of my intention. This place of love from which I speak from. This place of integrity and in alignment with all that is from which I speak from. I just anchor in this prayer, knowing this truth for each person in this room, outside these walls and on this planet. And that I anchor in that we belong. We are and we belong. And so it is. Amen.
together for a while now. There is nothing more important than being with you now. I'll be home for the holidays, thinking to stay away. Wait to see your smiling face. Baby, I'm on my way. Hold on. We've made the most of not much at all. Survive on our faith and our love. Look at our family, so beautiful. Oh Lord, I just cannot wait to get home and in love with you. I'll be home for the holidays, thinking I'd stay away. Oh no, I can't wait to see your smiling face. Baby, I'm on my way. Oh, yeah, hold on. I'll never leave you alone. You are the beat of my heart. Baby, hold on. I'll be home for the holidays, thinking I'd stay away. Oh no, I can't wait to see your smiling face. Baby, I'm on my way. Oh, hold on, hold on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Woo, we are so blessed, yes, with our beautiful music team. Let's give them some more love. Yes. And I want to thank Reverend Bobby for an amazing talk. I really appreciate, the term that's coming to me is like grounded spirituality, like grounded, like applicable in our lives, and that is so necessary right now. So thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. So now is the time of our giving, and I love that statement. It is in the giving. The belonging resides within the giving, and the giving resides within the belonging. It's really beautiful dichotomy. So as we give from that place of gratitude. As we give from that place of fullness. We give from that place that all needs are met. And I always like to use the idea of Alcoholics Anonymous. When I participated in 12-step meetings, I didn't feel a part of until I started giving back. I started sweeping the floors, I started bringing cookies, and I started giving of myself, of what I could. And that's when I started to feel a part of the community. And so as we give back to our community, we give what we can: time, treasure, talent. And that is the seeds for our belonging. So I love the connection made there. So as we place our hand on our heart, if you choose to place your hand on your heart, in a moment of just absolute gratitude and thanksgiving for that which we are able to give, for the ability to give. And gratitude for right now, I just want you to feel into your heart that which you are grateful for. You could say it to yourself. And as we build this grateful energy within each and every one of us and within this room, we go forth as our giving, in our giving, we say thank you. Thank you, thank you for the ability to give from this place that all needs are met. And knowing as we open our eyes, we know and accept with gratitude and thanksgiving and that, sorry, I'm at a loss for words, which never happens. I was looking for our gratitude affirmation, which is right here. We're going to say our gratitude affirmation together. But we just know that as we say this from a place of wholeness. As we say together, I am one with the unity of all life. I give from this place of oneness. My abundance is anchored in that oneness. I honor the oneness of others. We affirm this is true, and so it is. Thank you all.
So now we'll do our benediction. So I'm going to ask that everyone please stand. So I just want you to look around the room and see how Christ Lutheran Church has decorated the sanctuary we share. How sweet is that? Just beautiful, right? So we get to thank him for that, which I'm going to do that this week. For sure. I also want to thank some of the folks here. Nikki Freeman for having a birthday and being the host. Kong, Dez, and Lorenzo. Rock. And Lena in the back on sound, and Matt over here on streaming. Loving the sound, loving the streaming, loving it all. Jesse Keeler, thank you for your share today. Very powerful. Rev Veronica for hers as well. Beautiful. Thank you for that. And Debbie Ann Vokes in the back is on minister support. Thank you for that, Debbie Ann. Tori Sena is our board of trustee today. And of course, our leaders, Julie Gano and Janine Cochran for our welcome team. But we also have Julie in the back and Carrie over here, who was part of our welcome team today. Thank you for your service. We really appreciate what you do. So let's get this party ended. So this is our prayer today. So the deal is this. I know that something amazing is happening right now. What's it called? Hold on. Well, what is it? Where is it? Hold on. Is life just in my feet? Hands? What is it? Say that again. I just want you to remember that this week, okay? So where is it? Oh, I did that. Sorry, I just wanted to hear it again. What am I going to do with life? And. So do I choose what I share? Not really. I share me. And how do I do that? And now, starting from your feet. Don't mess with me, folks. Start to move those feet. Don't pretend, get involved, because we're just about to go into the most powerful spiritual practice that there is, which is gratitude, moving your feet and allowing that energy to move up. So just pause for a moment, even close your eyes, and feel that there is energy moving as you. There is something within you moving. Tap into that as it moves up and through your body. It's moving up into your torso and up to your neck, and as it comes to your head, I almost stopped breathing right there and passed out. as it moves up that head, that amazing energy that is so explosive and dynamic and divine. Feel that and say this with me. Thank you, life.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. The healing this healing day. This healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing day. This healing day. This healing day. One more time with me. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing day. This healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you, Namaste.
Thank you, Namaste. Have a great week.